Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about data types and constraint in SQL. Okay. So this topic is specifically mentioned in our syllabus. So we have to discuss this in detail. So in the previous video, we have discussed about introduction to SQL, and in that also we have discussed this introduction to data types and constraint. So before watching this particular video, please try to watch that video. Okay. So that will be more helpful. So first before discussing these data types and constraint by using SQL, first we need to create a database and the tables, right? So syntax for creating a database is like this. So create database. So this is a particular syntax, and here we have to put a database name. So whatever database name we want to queue, we can keep this particular name. So for example, I want to create a college database, right? So by name college. So this is a syntax, create database college. Since database is the collection of a table, so we need to create a tables in it, right? What is syntax for creating a table? This one. So if I want to create this particular table student, right? How to create? So create table, this is a syntax, right? Create table, then you have to specify the table name, like which table I want to create. Create table, table name, and inside the bracket, you have to mention column 1. Column 1 means what is the name of your particular column. So what are the columns are there in a particular table. So column 1, then its data type, then its constraint, after that comma, then column 2 data type constraint, after that again comma. So in this way you can just uh, add as many columns along with data type and constraint you want, right? This is about how we create a table, right? Having the particular column name, data type and constraint, right? So for example, create table student. So we are creating this particular table student here, right? So we have this column name, that is attribute name, roll number, name, age, course, right? So here we have to specify roll number is our column, data type is a varchar, so having size 5, so we'll discuss this. Then primary key is a constraint, right? Name is one more column name, varchar is our data type, but here we don't have any constraint, so these constraints are optional. Okay, so these constraints are optional, but data type is mandatory, right? So because data type will ensure what type of data I can insert, either integer, either character, either date, or what, right? But constraint are some specific rules that must satisfy in order to enter a particular, in order to enter data in a particular column. But those are optional. Okay. So here is name, varchar, data type. Age is having integer data type. So age is having integer data type. Means age will ensure that I can insert only integer value in this particular column. I cannot insert Ravi, or I cannot insert 3 in this 23 in this particular column, because these are the characters, right? The varchar data type. So I cannot insert in the age column. So course is having varchar. So varchar will ensure that I can insert a string data type. So varchar, char. So these are useful to string data type. String data type means, so these are the string alphanumeric also you can say, that is alphanumeric also you can say. Okay, having alphabet and numeric, right? And in order to insert this particular char and varchar, we use single quotation. So if I want to insert a record of a roll number, I have to specify roll number DA01 is like this, right? But for integer, we don't have to specify any single quotation. We just mention 23. That's it. That's it, right? But if I say 23 inside the quotation, so this will be string. Okay, so this will be my string. Okay, so there's difference between string and integer. So 23 is basically my integer. The moment I put single quotation, the 23 will be my string. Okay, then I can insert this string in this particular name, roll number, or course, right? So we'll discuss that also. I hope you got an overall idea how to create a table. So table will have a rows and columns. So columns we have created with a particular data type and a constraint, right? Now, once we have created this particular table name and this column name, so we have created a structure of a database having table name and the column along with data types and constraint. But how to insert those record? For that, we have insert statement, right? This is insert statement. So syntax for insert statement. Okay. So this is syntax. Insert into which table? So we have to specify the table name. So insert into table name. What values we have to insert? So insert into table name values, and what are the values are there? We have to specify here, right? For example, this is insert into student table. The values are DS01 Ravi 23 dbms. So DS01 Ravi 23 dbms. So if I execute this particular query, this will get insert, right? So here if you notice, I have put single quotation here because these are all varchar data type, and 23 is an integer data type, so I don't need to put 23 in a single quotation. Okay, so this is about insert into student values and this particular values. But there one more type in which we can insert a record. Okay, so for example, I don't have any information about age of a particular student, right? So if I want to uh, add such record, like in this case 23 not be there, then in that case what I can say, insert into student, then we have to specify the column name here. Okay, so for which column we are inserting a particular record. But if we have to insert a record for all the columns, then you don't need to specify the column name here. But if you want to insert a record in a particular column or specified column, so specific columns, then you have to mention those columns name, right? Otherwise you can directly use this insert into student values, then these are the values. But I don't have the age of a student, I don't have a course of a student who is enrolled, then I can simply enter roll number and name, that's it, right? So then the values will be corresponding to this. So we have to make sure that this roll number, name, course, and the order that we are inserting must be same. It means that for this particular order, so this will be a roll number, this will be my name, and this will be my course. Okay, so even if you interchange, for example, this will be my name and instead of name it is roll number, then you have to change here also. So it will be Ravi and this will be DA01, right? So this is also correct because we have just changed the column names, but you also change the values corresponding to it. So this is must, right? So we'll discuss with the help of examples now. Like we'll try to execute a query. So this is how we create a database, create a table, and insert a record in a particular table. Like suppose if I want to view a particular data, so there is one select command is there. So as of now, just understood that is select is there. Whatever the column name we want to put, so column name we want to view, we have to put like this: select column name. Then we have from, and then we have table name, right? That is table name. Now if I just want to view roll number and name, so what I can say, select roll number, then we have to put comma, then name, then we have to put from, then we have to put table name, that is student. Okay, then I will get this only two column in the output, right? That's it. But if you want to view all the columns, then simply instead of mentioning all the column name, you can simply use star. So select star from student, right? So this will be my specific columns, and this will give me all the columns, right? All the columns, right? So that's it, right? So what are the data types that we are going to discuss in today's session? So that is char, varchar, date, integer, numeric, boolean. So these are the few important data types. So others data types are also there, but that is not important exam point of view, because if you see the previous year CS questions also, they have not asked question based on other data types. So we'll stick to this only. Also, we have different types of constraint, that is not null, unique, primary key, check, default, and foreign key. So we'll discuss this one by one. Okay. Okay, so this is my PG admin. So I'm using Postgres as a SQL. Uh, so I'm using Postgres as our database management system. You don't need to install this particular system. I'm just showing you how those particular syntax work and how to create a tables, right? So just watch this particular video. So that will be enough. So if you want, I can share this particular code with you, and you can also try to execute the code in the like there's few online editors also. I will tell you the link, so directly you can execute there also, but you don't need to install this, right, for a gate exam point of view. So I can select any Postgres. So first here you can see database. So either you can write a query, that is create database, then database name, but this is PG admin, so it's GUI tool. So I just need to uh, create a database by name college, right? So this PG admin is very useful tool for managing the database or for doing data analysis also, but we are not going to discuss this in detail. But as of now, just understood, we are creating a database by name college, right? That is select. So here you can see we have created database by name college, right? Now I am going to a query editor, right? So just forget about this right left side part and above what is there. So we don't need to consider this part, just focus on this much, right? This is our query editor and this is the output. So here you can see whatever the query we are going to write, and here it will be the output, right? So first we have created a table, or first we have created a database by name college, right? So simple command is there, that is create database. Then we have to put database name, that is college. Okay, since we already created this particular database, I don't need to create it again. So this is a query for that, right? But I need to create a student table, right? So I need to create a student table. So what is the query for creating student table? That is create table. Then table name we have to specify, that is student, right? Inside the bracket we have to specify the column name, that is roll number. Then its data type will be varchar. Okay, so I'm just putting 5. Okay, we can put any number of characters, but I'm just putting 5, varchar 5. So in many of the cases, you can see 255. So that is also fine. That is maximum. That is also fine. This length, but we are just putting 5. Roll number. Then we are putting its data type. Data type is basically a, so varchar is the data type. Now we are putting constraint, that is primary key constraint, right? Then we have name. Name is a column. Name is basically a column name, right? So we can put varchar as a data type. So again, data type varchar. Then we are putting unique constraint. That is unique constraint, right? Now we have age. So age is an integer data type, right? Now we'll put date of birth. For date of birth, we'll put date data type, right? So our age, for age, I will put a not null constraint. So I want age because I don't want because this will so this not null will ensure that this age particular column will have a value. So I cannot insert or I cannot keep this column blank. Okay, so that's what not null will ensure. So DOB date of birth, right? That is date. So we have discussed varchar, name varchar, unique, age, int. So data types are done. I think yeah. So CGP, right? So data type will be numeric in this case. So we'll discuss this. What is 3 comma 2? Now we'll also discuss about Boolean. So result is Boolean data type. So I can either insert true or false in a Boolean column, right? That is Boolean data type. So I think we have covered all the types of data types like varchar, int, date, numeric, Boolean. Okay, we have not covered char, so I'm changing it to char. Okay, so all the data types are covered in this particular table. Now, what about constraint? So we have covered primary key constraint, we have covered unique constraint, we have covered not null constraint. Check constraint is remaining. So comma at the last we can put check. So what is check? That is age greater than 18. Okay, and we have one more constraint, that is default. Okay, so here I can put default. It is true. Okay. So let's try to create this particular table. I'm selecting this query and this is a run button. So here you can see table has been created successfully. Create table. Now if you want to view a table, so simple select query is there. So viewing a table, so simple mention select star from select star from student, right? That is table name. So select star means it will give me all the column, right? Select star from student. Here uppercase and lowercase doesn't matter in the SQL, so it will take as a lowercase only, so don't worry about it. So select star from student. So this is how we create a student table. So roll number, name, age, date of birth, CGP and Boolean like result. Okay, so we have created a table student with all the data types and constraints, right? Now we'll try to insert a record in a particular table. So how to insert? So insert into table name, that is student, right? And what are the values? Now here I have not specified any particular column name, right? If I have not specified any particular column name, then I have to enter the details for all the column name. Okay. So Here values will be roll number is our DA01, right? That is varchar, so we have to put in a single quotation. Name is, say, for example, Raj, that is varchar, we have to put in a single quotation. Then age, say, for 23. Okay. So for example, yeah, age, say, for 23. Okay. Then date of birth, we have to put in a single quotation, but it should be in a YYY MMM DDD format or DDMM YYY format. So I will put 1/1/2023, right? Date of birth. And then CGPA is, say, for example, 8.92. I will discuss what is numeric data type, but for example, let us consider 8.92. Result is true. Okay. And that's it. So we have 5 columns, right? Roll number, name, age, date of birth, CGPA, and result. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's try to insert a particular record. So you can say query written successfully. Now if you want to view data, run this query again. Select star from students. So here you can see we have successfully inserted a record in a particular table, right? Now we'll discuss one by one, right? So first we'll discuss various data types, right? So we have varchar, right? So varchar is having 5 size. So a, I cannot insert a data in a particular column having length more than 5. So in this case, DA01 is just 4 characters. But if I try to insert DA001, so in this case, it will be 1, 2, 3, 6 characters. So if I try to run this query, see, we are getting an error. See, we are getting a error here. So value too long for type character varying, right? That is 5. So our size of this particular data type is 5. So I can insert a record in a particular column having only 5 characters. This is what varchar 5 is. Only 5 characters, up to 5 characters, right? I can put less than 5 also, right? It's DA014, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I cannot insert a particular roll number having more than 5 characters. So this size will ensure that maximum number of characters that I can insert in a particular for a particular roll number. Okay, this is what 5 is. I cannot insert more than 5 characters in a roll number. Same goes for name. I cannot insert, instead of Raj, I cannot insert Ramesh here, right? Ramesh is 6. So let me correct this. Right, so DA01 now. Let's try to insert this particular record. Yeah, so here you can see same error we are getting, value too long for a type character. So character is having also 5 size. So like this maximum number of character it can take is 5, right? So both varchar and char, if we fix the size, so it will take the maximum number of characters. So in general we can say n. So n is the maximum number of characters that this particular char and varchar will can take, right? But what is the difference between char and varchar? Okay, we'll discuss that now. Suppose, for example, I insert a record RAM here. Okay. Now let's try to insert a record. So we have successfully inserted a record, right? Now let us see the data. So we have inserted a record, this DA01, RAM 23, this particular date of birth, CGPA and result, right? So there are repetition of age, date of birth, CGPA result because we have not put any constraint here, right? We have not put unique constraint. So this columns are not violating my unique constraint, right? So only unique constraint is to name and the roll number, right? This must be unique. So we'll discuss that. But we are discussing the difference between char and varchar. So varchar and char, we have both. So they both can take up to maximum n number of characters and less than n it's possible, but maximum n. But what's the difference between char and varchar? So if you observe here, both are 3 characters, right? Both are 3 characters. But if I copy this DA01, right, and paste it here, so I got DA001 double quotation. But if I copy this RAM, okay, if I copy this RAM and what I'm getting RAM, after that there is blank space, right? After that there is 2 blank spaces in the case of char. So varchar will ensure that according to the number of characters, it will allocate the space to the database in the database. But char 5 means it will ensure we have the fixed storage for a particular column name. Okay, so char will have a fixed storage for a particular column name, and this varchar will have variable storage for a particular column name. This is what the difference is. If you see, we have inserted a record in a roll number and name column. Both are having 3 characters, but varchar has taken 3 characters only, but whereas the name has taken 5 characters only. So Ram is taken. After that, there is two blank spaces. So this is very important point. So char will ensure that it will be a fixed number of characters at the database, but if we try to insert less number of characters, so it will fill the remaining characters with this particular spaces. So that's the difference between char and varchar. Okay, so please remember this particular point. Okay, so this is about char and varchar. So integer, we all know we can only insert integer data type in this particular table. So for example, I just put this 23 inside a single quotation. Now this will become the in what string. But can I insert this particular in a particular data in a age? So let's try to insert, because yeah. So duplicate key violates unique constraint student primary key. So it is saying that this is violating my constraint because already a student having a roll number D01 is present. So I cannot insert a record of one more student having D01. So this is what primary key will ensure. So primary key is having not null plus unique constraint. So it will ensure that all the student must have unique roll number. So if I try to insert one more record of this particular roll number, it will not allow us. So it will ensure that all the roll number must be unique and not null. So that's why we are not able to insert a record. Now I will change it to D02. Now let's try to insert. Again, we are getting an error. Duplicate key value violates unique constraint now. So unique constraint is to name. So already we have a record of a RAM. So I cannot insert a one more record of a student name having the RAM, because name will ensure, because unique constraint will ensure that name is having the unique value. Okay, so there will be no repetition. Same for primary key, but primary key will also ensure it should not have a null value. Okay, so I hope you understand the difference between var and char. What is primary key constraint and what is unique constraint, right? Integer is same thing, like 23 we can insert, but I cannot insert any other string. So for example, it is 23, right? 23. So I have to also change to RAM. Now let's try to see. So here you can see invalid input syntax for type integer 23, because 23 is an integer, so it will only take the numbers. Okay, but what if I put 23 inside the quotation? Now let's try to insert a record. Yes, so we successfully inserted because this was integer. Okay, so 23 either we can put directly or in single quotation also, but so that's not the best practice. So better not to use single quotation. It depends on data type, because it depends on the database system which you are going to use. So this is Postgres, so it is allowing, but if you use any other database management system, it will not allow us to insert. So the best practice is are not going to use single quotation for an integer. Okay, so if I try to insert this particular record now, so yeah, again it will violate because we already inserted the record, right? So I hope you understand the data type integer. What is not null? We'll discuss. Now what about date of birth data type? So date will take this format only. So date will take particular format data only. So date will take YYY hyphen hyphen DD or DDD hyphen hyphen YYY format. Instead of hyphen, you can also use slash. So like this, DD slash slash YY. So all are accepted. Okay. So data type will ensure data type will ensure that whatever the value we are going to insert in a particular column, so that have this particular date format. Okay. So if I just keep this topic, so for example, this one like this, right? So let's make this rule number change. Okay. Now let's try to insert a record. So you can see invalid input syntax for date, because this is not a proper date format. So date format will ensure that whatever data we are going to input in a table, it must have this specific format. Okay, so this is about date. Now what is CGPA? That is numeric 3, 2. Very important point. So what is numeric 3, 2? So numeric means, yeah, it will take the numeric values, but it will take it, but it will consider the decimal point also. So what is 3 comma 2? So 3 is a total number of digit it can take. Okay. So numeric 3 comma 2. Let me take the example. Numeric 3 comma 2. So examples of this numeric 3 comma 2 are 1.22, right? 8.99 or 7.4, right? So in total, there can be at max 3 digits. But after decimal point, there must be 2 digits. In total, there will be 3 digits, but after decimal point, on the right hand side of decimal point, there must be 2 digits at max. There can be 1 digit, but at max it can be 2 digits. I cannot insert a record like this 77.4. This is not allowed because before decimal point only, so like in total I can insert 3 digits, but after decimal point 2 digits. So it means that 3 minus 2. So it means that 3 minus 2, that is 1. So I can have only one digit before the decimal point. Means left hand side on this particular type. So if I say it is numeric a comma b, a comma b, right? So number of digits I can have on the left side of a particular decimal will be a minus b and comma, so not comma, decimal point after b. So this is a maximum, but in total it should be a only, right? In total it should be a only, right? So number of digits I can have before decimal point, my left hand side of decimal point will be a minus b. So in this case 1, but after decimal point it will be b only. So please make sure this point, okay? So I can insert a record 8.92, but if I want to insert, let us change the name again, Sam Sequam, it's say 22, okay. But here I want to insert 88.9, okay. Now let's try to see what we get here, right? Now here we are getting a error, numeric field overflow. So we cannot insert a data like this. So numeric 3 comma 2 means in total 3 digits, but before decimal point, on the left hand side of decimal point, 3 minus 2, that is only 1 digit, so that is 8, or we can take any digits, and after that it can be 1 or 2, right? So I can enter 8.9 also, 8.90 also, right? So both are possible. So if I try to insert, yeah, so it will get inserted, right? So this is about the date data type and numeric data type. I hope you understand the difference between date and numeric. Now about the Boolean data type. So Boolean is basically true or false. That's it. So I can either enter true or false, right? So if I just change this to D5 to cam to am and age, date of birth same, and instead of true I just put, say for example, pass, right? So instead of true, if I put for example pass, so it will throw an error. Column pass does not exist, right? So column pass does not exist. Even if I try to put in a single quotation, it will throw an error because in your input syntax type for Boolean pass. So either Boolean can be true or false only. So we don't need to mention in a single quotation either true or false. That's it, right? Yeah. So what is check constraint now? So check constraint will ensure that whatever data we are going to insert in a particular table should satisfy this particular condition. So that is age should be greater than 18. If I try to insert a records, for example, of a student age 16, then see what happens, right? So here you can see I've changed the date. Here I changed the age to 16, but we are getting an error. Student violates check constraint, student age check. So check constraint is getting violated because this condition is not getting satisfied. That's why we are not able to insert a particular record in a table. So if I just see this particular table, here you can see we cannot insert those record, right? Having age less than 18. Okay. So this is what check constraint will do. This is about the default one. Default means if you don't specify any values, it will take as a true. Okay. CGPA we have discussed, date, not null we have discussed, right? So this is about the insert statement, right? But here we have not mentioned any specific column name, right? So if you want to insert a record in all the column name, then we can use this particular format. But suppose I don't have a data of a particular student. For example, I don't have CGPA data, right? So in that case, I don't have a CGPA data, right? Now let's try to insert a record. We'll see what happens. We need to change the roll number because it will ensure the unique thing, right? So we'll now try to run. So column CGPA is of numeric but expression is of Boolean. So instead of this particular CGPA, it is taking this false, right? So this is mismatch, right? So here 1, 2, 3, 4. So our fifth will be false, but here fifth column is CGPA and having data type numeric, right? So it will not match and it will not allow us to insert a record, right? For that, you have to specify for which column you are going to insert. Like roll number, I have name, I have, then I have age. After that, I have DOB, and after that, I don't have CGPA, so I will just put result, right? So I have to specify what are the column names are there. According to that, it will take the data. So student check, okay, again validating the age, right? So it must be greater than 18. So now 19, we'll see. Now here we can see insert 01. So we have successfully inserted. Let's see the data. Let us select star from student. So here you can see we have inserted the record, and here you can see. So CGPA is null here because we have not insert any other value. So that's why CGPA is null, and also we have not put any constraint to CGPA. If we put not null constraint, then it will not. Then it is going to violate, right? So for example, if I skip age also now because age is having not null constraint, right? Now let's try to put I need to change the name also, right? And this also. So now let's try to put, I'm just inserting roll number, name, DOB and result. Now here we are getting an error because age of religion student violates not null constraint. So not null is getting violated, right? So that's it. So I hope you are getting what we have discussed today. What are the data types and constraint? So we have discussed all the types of data types in detail with examples. And constraint also we have discussed almost, right? So check constraint, default constraint, then unique, not null, primary key, right? So there are a few important points regarding primary key. We'll discuss that now, right? So foreign key is remaining. So we'll discuss in the later part, like after few videos. But yeah, but whatever we have discussed today, if you understood, so that will be enough. So if you have any doubt in this particular video, you can just comment below. I can make one more video if you have any doubt regarding data types and constraint. Okay. Okay, so that's it from my side. Okay, so you can just go through this particular video again and I will share the notes. So in that I will cover all these important points. So don't worry about it. Okay, so that's it from my side. Thank you.